Hi, everyone, and welcome to today's episode of the Love and Light Show, where your special guest is Whitley, and I'm so excited to have her on today. And thank you guys so much for being patient with the little technical glitch. We're on like about 10 minutes later than originally planned, but Be Alive was having issues. We couldn't get both of us to be on. I would hear her but not see her. She would not see me. We were having some issues, but we're on now. So I'm actually going to give Whitley a little bit of time as I kind of intro the show for her to share it out so that we can get the people who are interested on, and maybe I'll do the same when she's introing herself. Just let the people who are really wanting to get on and looking forward to this, we'll make sure that they're on it live, because we're actually going to go through very interesting exercises. So I want to make sure that the people who wanted to be on live can be on live, because we're going through amazing reflective prompts and exercises to support you. You can also feel free to engage with us. We love engaging with you when we're live as well, so we can answer your questions. If you have any comments that you want to put in as we go on as well, I definitely encourage you to do that. And we're on the Be Live platform, so we need you to say hi to us when you pop on live. I know that we have one person live already, so definitely say hi to us. Make sure you can see and hear us, because Be Live was being very interesting today. Like, we both use Be Live on a regular basis, and we were on before the show, like always, and it's like, it was being very interesting with the technology. And it's not even Mercury. It's coming soon, but it's not yet. So the Love and Light Show comes to you every Monday at 1 Atlantic, 12 Eastern, 9 Pacific, to showcase different light workers and healers and badass spiritual entrepreneurs and amazing people in the world who are making the world a better place. So you guys can connect with the coaches and healers and mentors that are for you, that'll support you in your next best step on your healing journey, so that we can truly do the inner work that we need to do for ourselves, so we can be happy and healthy and fulfilled and live incredible lives and hold more space when we're operating from a full cup to help and support the people around us, so that we can literally be the change we want to see in the world and affect positive change within our families and our coworkers and our communities, and just ripple out those amazing positive waves of change, which we all love to do. And we have so many individual passions and purposes in our hearts. So I love that we get to connect different healers and light workers to support you on that journey. And I'm Laura McPhee. I'm a joyful goddess, a speaker, healer, and coach, and I love to empower women to get to their dream happy lives through self-love and care, through eliminating those limiting beliefs that have been holding you back, through letting go of that negative voice in your head that says you're not good enough or smart enough or pretty enough or whatever enough that's in your like blueprint programming that you need to let go on, so you can move forward and really shine your light and be that change that you want to see in the world and show up in the way that you're designed to do, because we're all unique individuals and we all have incredible like snowflake codes that like no one else has. Like, you are the only you that there will ever be, and what's in you to give to this world is so important to get out. So it's so important for us to really like heal ourselves so we can show up in an amazing like high vibe state and share what we're meant to with the world, so we can even just be doing the work ourselves, we're affecting the change. If you're not going to like go out there and be a coach or healer, like a leader in any way, like you are a leader to your friends or to your family or to your children. Like, there's so many ways that we can affect this positive change, even if you don't perceive yourself in that space yet. So thank you so much for joining us today, Whitley. How are you doing?
I am great. Thank you so much for having me, Laura. I'm excited.
Yay, me too. And Whitley's amazing. I know her through SCIPLE. So if you're in the St. John area, you've gone to one of the amazing in-person events that we used to do. And now this just blown up, and it's an amazing online community as well. I love your Facebook group and the page as well. And I'll be sure to definitely link that to the top of the description when I'm done. Usually that's linked beforehand, but again, our technical issues happen. So I'll be sure to do that at the end when we're done too. So Whitley is a visionary, a speaker, and a female empowerer who loves to be on a mission to empower people every day. She is the best version of herself. She helps people own their power and inspires people to go on that same path, so we can all have a better life. So I'm so excited for you to share your story with us today. And I encourage you guys who are joining us live to definitely say hi. We have lots more people popping on, and we'll definitely engage with you during the show. So hey, Betty. Hey, Sherry. I hope you guys are having an awesome day. So definitely take it away. I love all the things that we're going to talk about letting go of your past, having healthy communication, relationships, how to access the happiness within, all those important things. So if you don't have a pen and paper yet, definitely go get one. And we're going to do this one a little bit differently, where it's not just a separate experience at the end. It's ingrained throughout the whole thing, so you guys can really get the most benefit from this. And again, feel free to ask any questions and comment along the way as well. So take it away, Whitley.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Laura. So first of all, I'm super excited to be on here and sharing this, sharing on this topic with you guys today, because this is something that is something that's new
Mhm.
to share. So you guys are the first one to hear. So as Laura
Yay!
said, I am a visionary, founder of SCIPLE, and I really am on a mission to live in my power every single day
Mhm.
and to inspire and educate others to do the same.
Yes.
Right. So basically, what I'll be sharing with you guys today are 4 lessons that I've learned in over my journey with helping, basically really having, sorry guys, I'm getting a little bit caught off guard. Is there some feedback, Laura?
Yeah, people are starting to say echo.
Yeah, let me see if I can try my
And then
headphones.
Sherry said breaking up. Ugh, I really hope that Be Live is good for us. I'm like sending all the good energies to Be Live. So anyone else wants to send really good energies to Be Live? We will get this message out to you guys. We are committed to this. I'm so excited for this topic.
I'm hopeful. I'm going to plug in my headphones and let's see.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
I can still hear you. So if you guys want to put in the comments if that sounds clearer now that she has her headset in. We weren't sure if that was an issue earlier, so we were just playing with all the little aspects and pieces.
Yeah, so hopefully this doesn't have any feedback. Can you guys hear me well?
Let us know, and I'll pop into some other stuff too. So Leanna said, hey ladies, love that you popped up on my feed. Awesome.
Okay.
And Betty said, I'm excited for this because I have a very similar past as Whitley. Awesome. Very cool.
Ooh,
And
I
yeah,
like
people
it.
were saying. Okay, so actually think it's good now. Awesome.
Oh,
and then Sherry said it's
okay.
just Whitley.
Good. Okay.
Okay, but now it says
right.
good and better. So we're just going to keep going as if you can hear both of us. If you can't see both of us, let us know.
Let us know.
We will get
all right.
at least.
We are determined. Sending out positive energy. Okay, so basically what I want to share with you guys today are 4 lessons that I have learned throughout my journey. And I have had, some experiences with some unhealthy and some not so good relationships in my past. And I believe everything happens for a reason. And I believe that when we're here on this earth, there are lessons that we learn that help us excel, that help us grow to the next level in our life. And so today, I want to share those lessons with you. I think that they're quite general in a sense where it's not only going to help you in ways where you can apply it to your significant other, but you could also apply it to other relationships in your life and also apply it to just your life internally and how you are in your journey. So first of all, I just want to let you guys know, I am not a relationship doctor. I'm not a relationship expert. This is purely based on my own experiences and my own lessons. And I want to share them with you in hopes that maybe you guys can take something away to apply to your own life. All right, so without further ado, why don't we get started? I want to share a little bit of a story, a little bit of a background of myself and my own experiences, just to kind of help you guys understand where I'm coming from. So about 3 years ago, I felt like I literally won the jackpot. I was like on cloud 9. I had met the man of my dreams 3 years ago. And we just fell madly in love. And it just seemed so perfect. He had his stuff together. I had my stuff together. We both had one child from a past relationship, they were roughly around the same age. So that was nice. We spent so much time together. We traveled together. We ended up moving in together. And it was like we were just this picture perfect, beautiful little family. And then as time went on, we added a new member to the family. So we had this wonderful little family relationship, and I was building my first business. I was building my first business. I had started up a women's network, which is SCIPLE. Yes. And so life just seemed like so awesome. And I was just so thrilled. And as time went on, things started to dwindle. Things started to kind of take a turn for the worse. And internally with myself and in my relationship. And as time went on, it just kind of spiraled, and it was just like this downward world spiral where, you know, we were working on it. We were trying to make things better. I was trying to make things better, but things were not getting better. They were just worsening. And so fast forward a couple years of trying to make that relationship work and everything, I found myself making one of the hardest decisions that anybody could possibly make, especially when you build a home and you build a family, that it had gotten to that point where it was just too unhealthy, too toxic, where it was literally just making all of us miserable, our kids included. And so I made that hard decision to leave. And so I found myself, you know, broke, single mom of now 2 kids, living in my mother's apartment, and literally starting all over again at square one. And let me just be real with you guys. This was not my first failed relationship. I have had a couple of other failed relationships in the past. And with my daughter's father, that was just a very toxic and bad relationship that I had to come out of, and which took time to heal. And so I'm finding myself back at square one, and I am just so sad, so heartbroken, so lost, and just thinking to myself, I just remember asking myself, what is wrong with me? Why can't I be happy? Why can't I, you know, have that happy relationship? Why me? And I just thought, you know what? This is it. Like, I don't think I'm really destined to be in a happy relationship. I don't think I'm destined to find, you know, your soulmate. And I thought there was something wrong with me. And here I am trying to pick up the pieces of basically my life and trying to find my place in the world once again, figuring out who I am as a person, and basically start over, getting a new apartment and picking everything up. So that was one of the most difficult times in my life, I have to say. But when I look back on that, I realized that that time in my life was a period of transformation. And so even though I was in that dark space, I knew that I would be able to get out of it. And I knew that I just had to be strong and look forward. And once I did that, I really embarked on this journey, Laura, and everyone who's watching, of just learning about myself, finding my place in the world. And through that, I learned some incredible lessons. And those lessons, like I said, guys, you really can apply them to other areas of your life as well. And so I'm really excited to share those 4 key lessons that can help you essentially in having a healthier, happier relationship with your significant other, having a more healthy and happier relationship with yourself as a person and with others around you, okay? So I'm not about just sitting here and having talking to myself, talking on camera, guys. I'm all about having a raw, real conversation. So I encourage you guys, if you guys have questions, if you guys, are feeling or something, something relates to you and what I say or what I share today, I want you to drop it in the comments. Let me know. I want to have a conversation with you guys. And I've got my iPad here up so that I can see you guys popping up with your questions and your comments so that I can kind of track those. I just wanted to say hi to a few people, Laura, if you don't mind, honey.
Yeah,
I see Stephanie Johnston, Tasha.
Said, hey, ladies.
Hey, ladies. And she's saying, I hear you. Donar, is that how you say your name? I think.
I'm not sure.
Is it Kelsey Ann? Kelsey Ann is watching, maybe. Sherry, Betty, Leanna. Hey, girls, I just want to say hi to everybody. If anything is resonating with you guys, I want you guys to just drop it in the comments. Let me know. If you guys have questions throughout, I'm going to try to answer questions throughout as well. Hey, Tasha. Okay, so the first lesson I want to dive into, guys, that I learned was letting go of the past. That was huge. That was huge. I realized throughout my journey that there were so many situations circumstances that I put myself in, or that was caused by other people. And I was harboring that stuff. And I didn't even know that I was harboring that stuff, but I was carrying it along with me in my journey, relationship to relationship, as baggage.
Right.
And looking back on it now, I realize like how much that really affected myself as a person and the people that were around me. So if any of you here know exactly what I'm talking about, whether you've been done wrong, you've been hurt, you've just experienced something that really caused you a lot of pain, and you carry that with you on your shoulders onto the next relationship, or you carry that on your shoulders throughout your journey, I want you to pop a yes in the comments. I want to know, because I think Betty's saying there's feedback again, and I can kind of hear it a little bit. Okay,
do you want to maybe decrease your volume? Sometimes that helps.
Yeah, absolutely. Let me see if I can do that.
In worst case, you can always pop back in and we will make this work.
How's that?
Mandy, it sounds good to me. So if you guys want to let us know and confirm that sounds good to you guys on your end, we want to make sure this is a clear message for you guys. So Mandy says, hi, this is beautiful. Thank you both. Yay. You're welcome.
Hey, Mandy. Okay, so let us know if there's feedback, guys.
We have like 11 people on live, so even if you want to like put likes, like a like in the comments, like that's good.
Absolutely. So going back to carrying that baggage
sounds good. Cool.
Throughout your journey. Awesome. Good. So when you're carrying that baggage into your journey onto the next, that really, really holds you back, because you're not fully allowing yourself to shed from what you've learned or what you've gone through to allow you to move forward in your life. Do you know what I'm saying, Laura?
I totally do. And that I like 100% resonate with. So guys, be open in the comments. Like, I, even for my parents' relationship, was holding on to their codependency and toxic shit that I needed to heal and work on, because that would come up throughout my relationships. And when I didn't heal that in one relationship, it would definitely be brought on to the next one. And I've been in unhealthy relationships that did not serve my highest, most good. And that felt really bad sometimes and made me a worse version of myself as well. So like, I've had to do the work consistently. Like, this has been a big thing on my journey where I'm like, I will not be like my parents. So like, let's be positive in this and be like, I will be with a king energy, high vibe, loving, unconditional man who like supports me and loves me and nurtures our environment together, and like focus on those things and continuously do the work on this. So it's so important for us to like do that work for ourselves to create a better space for ourselves right now.
Yes, absolutely. 100% agree with that. And there's so
Lori
many...
says,
no worries.
She said, thanks for keeping it 100, Whitley. I can relate to every word you're saying. Awesome.
That's awesome. Hey, Lori, thanks for joining in and joining in the conversation too. So I want to give you guys a little exercise and I want you guys to be really honest with yourselves. Like, are there things that you have held on to, that you're still holding on to, that you know you need to let go? And I want to give you a little exercise that could really, really help you. It's really simple. A friend of mine, Stephanie Davidson, she runs Vision St. John. So she does vision boards and really helps you with your journey and your visualization. So she's amazing. We had lunch one day and we were having a conversation, and she had that I hear feedback again. Sorry, Laura.
Yeah, it sounded a little bit glitchy for a second. And I'll tap into some comments as you're doing that. So Betty said, I'm a survivor of child sexual assault and domestic abuse in my teens. So yes, I can relate and have been doing the work to have a beautiful marriage. Beautiful. That's awesome, Betty. I'm glad that you're doing the work and have a wonderful space and beautiful marriage now. And then Stephanie said, ooh, king energy. I like the sounds of that. Yes, 100% king energy. Because we're queens, we're goddesses, we're amazing. So we need that equal partner.
And Betty, I just want to take a moment to just celebrate you, because for you to be so open in sharing that tells me you have done that inner work, that shows that you have taken the time to really, really be able to take something that was, you know, something that was such a bad experience for you, and you've healed from that. And so I want to celebrate you in that. Thanks for sharing, Betty.
Thank you so much. Yes.
So going back when I was having lunch with my friend, she had talked to me about writing a letter, a forgiveness letter, about an experience that I was going through. And it was huge. That was when I actually sat down and I wrote that letter of forgiveness to that one person who I didn't even realize how much hurt and how much anger and just emotion that I was hiding below the surface. And I took an hour. She said, take an hour. So, okay, so basically this is what I want you guys to do. If you have a person, if you have a situation, if you have an experience that has really, really impacted you, that you are holding on to, I encourage you to do this letter. And so it's a letter of forgiveness. And what you're going to do is you're going to sit down in a very quiet area. You're going to want a quiet area. You're going to probably carve out about an hour, maybe even 2 hours. It could take longer than 2 hours. It just depends on how deep you want to go with this. But for me, it took me about an hour. I wrote 5 full long pages, and I was bawling my eyes out. Snot and all.
Yep.
And it was such a beautiful, emotional, and just refreshing experience for me, because it literally released so much that I didn't even know. Like, I thought that I had really forgiven some of the things, and there were things that I had even forgotten. But as I got writing, some things came to the surface, and I was like, okay. And I remember at the end of that letter saying, I forgive you for all of it. And I am going to release you, and I'm going to move on with my life. And I want you to release me and move on into your life, because I want nothing but the happiness and the best for you as I do for myself. And so it was such a deep and powerful exercise, guys. And so if you're struggling with anything, if you're carrying baggage, if you're struggling to forgive, I highly recommend that you guys sit down and try this letter of forgiveness, okay? Even if it's forgiveness for yourself, because I was even forgiving myself throughout this, because, you know, it's 2 wrongs don't make a right, and there's always there's always 2 sides, right? So I know that there were things that I had to forgive myself for as well. So try that. Has anybody tried this before? Let me know in the comments. I'm curious to know.
I totally have. Forgiveness letters are powerful, and lean into the feelings, because I've also had clients to do this work, and they're like, yeah, I did it. And it's like they did it for 10 minutes just to say that they got their homework done, and they didn't get into the feelings of it. They're like, yeah, I forgive you that you did this, that you did this, that you did this. And then when they leaned into the emotions of it, that you did this and I felt blah, 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 and that this is what happened to me, and this is the story I created that I pushed onto everything else, that downward spiraled and fucked things up in the future. Leaning into that part is where you're going to get the deep levels of healing. So I'm glad that you said you bawl your eyes out, because that is what can happen when we're doing this deeper work, is that we'll have those emotional releases that our body needs to let go of. Definitely.
You know what? Honestly, it's like if you're gonna cry. Yeah. If you're doing it right, you're gonna cry.
Yes. You might scream into a pillow. Awesome.
Okay, so
yes, absolutely. Then Anne's giving us a thumbs up. Cathartic is what Betty says. Sherry's giving us hearts. Thank you guys for all the love. Betty said thank you from before. Then we also had a question when you started saying that, so I didn't want to bring it up in the middle of your sentence. So, how do you forget or get over wrongdoings? It happens every time, no matter what, and I've tried so hard to just heal, and it seems so difficult. So definitely the letter would be a really good starting point.
I would say I would recommend the letter. I would start with the letter. And like I said, make sure you carve out some time and you have no distractions, and you got a box of tissues too.
Yes. And even getting support on your journey for doing forgiveness work, because there were a lot of times in my old control freak nature where I was like, this is going to break me. Like if I go into the stuff that I've had to like put in a box and suppress, and like I've had to deal with like child traumas as well, and it's like not fun to open that box and like figure out all the different pieces. So like I used to have huge fears that when and if I did that work or did inner child work or started to like look at those pieces of me, that it was going to be like overwhelming and that I would just fall apart, and how would I put myself back together? And there's no one else who's going to put me back together. So like how can I do this? So also having a friend that you can do this work with, or like a partner, someone that you love and that you can be vulnerable with, that you can be brave with, that will support you on this journey, is very wonderful and awesome. If you have a coach or a healer or mentor who can support you in that as well, that's very beneficial, because then they are that third party that they can be even more objective for you as well. So I really encourage both of those.
I love that you said that and you added that onto there, because with my best friend, Sherry Brown, she's like my main chick, my rock. And
Awesome.
literally after I wrote the letter, I called her up and I'm like all emotional and crying still. And, you know, she was there and she got it. And I told her that I was going to do the letter beforehand, and she totally encouraged it, supported it.
Awesome.
So I 100% agree with you. Having a bit of support, it helps. It goes a long way.
Yes, definitely.
So I'm going to jump on over to my second lesson, guys. And the second lesson that I wanted to share with you guys is to know yourself. And I know most of you guys are thinking, well, come on now. I've been in this body X amount of years. I know myself by now. But the fact is, the reality is that most of us can go a whole lifetime and not truly knowing ourselves. So what I mean by this is, have you taken the time to do some deep diving, deep soul searching, and asking those deep why questions? Like, you know, why do I value this so much? Or, you know, what do I stand for? What are my beliefs? What don't I stand for? What do I want in my life? What kind of person do I want to be in this life? Am I taking that kind of action to be that person in this life? So, you know, or if you're thinking of things as to where your heart is, and pursuing certain things that really give you that happiness and that joy inside. So when I left that relationship, this is when I really got to know myself. So beforehand, I knew myself, but I didn't really know myself, if that makes sense. So after the relationship, I really dove into like I said, a journey of growth, self-development, and I really pursued things that interested me. I really sat down and got clear as to what my values were, what mattered most to me in my life, and just some of the things that I knew I wanted to have and wanted to be in this world while I'm here. So I challenge you guys to sit down. If you've not done this type of exercise before, I challenge you guys to sit down and ask yourself some of these deep why questions. So the first one would be, you know, what do you stand for? What kind of things do you stand for in this life, in this world? And what sort of things do you not stand for? What are your values? What do you value most? Do you value family most? Do you value your career? Do you value time with friends? Do you value being a helping hand, like volunteering in your community and just doing things for others? What types of things do you value in your life? I think when you get really, really clear on those things, you're not jumping all over the place. And there's a really, really powerful quote. It's like, you have to stand for something, because if you don't, you'll fall for anything. Right? So I challenge you guys to sit down and take about a half an hour even, or however long it takes. But again, when it's quiet and you're alone, you can have some of that time to reflect, maybe later on in the evening. Write down a list of things of what you stand for, what you don't stand for. What are your values? What kind of traits are important to you as a person? Like what type of person do you want to be? And this is a really powerful visualization to use, but maybe put yourself in this space. Picture yourself being gone 3 years from today. Okay. So say that your funeral is 3 years from today. What do you want people to say about you? What do you want your family to say about you? What do you want your friends to say about you? What do you want your coworkers to say about you? What type of legacy do you want to leave when you leave this earth? What type of person do you want to be remembered by? And what do you want to experience? So think of it from that way. If you think of it from that perception, then it makes you almost like, oh, okay, I don't got a whole lot of time here. Then I better get really serious about this. But it gets you thinking. It gets you asking yourself those deeper why questions that most of us don't really take the time to sit down and figure out. So that would be my advice to you for that second key.
And that's very powerful too. So definitely let us know in the comments if you've done that kind of exercise before, or if you've had that experience. Like, sometimes grief is a very powerful thing and can push us forward and give us the momentum that we need if we notice that there are other people in our life that aren't fulfilling their purpose and aren't really happy or healthy in this world. Like, when my grandpa died, I definitely was like, I can't just be this like corporate accountant robot until I'm dead, pushing off everything else, being there for everyone else and never being there for myself, and being like, oh yeah, when I'm in my 50s, maybe I can coach and help people and do that. It's like, that didn't make sense to me anymore. Like, we are only here for a limited amount of time. So being like, okay, how will I impact this world? How I'm going to show up for myself is very powerful to even think about and to check into yourself with, and be like, 5 years from now, will this matter? Like, 3 years from now, will this little thing that like I made big in my head matter? You can just be like, no, like, these are the important things. Like, I know my values. I can see it on a piece of paper. This is what matters to me. And this is where I put my focus, my energy on. And then those things expand. That's just how the world works. What you focus on, you create more of. So I love that. And then Betty said, the last few years have been years of me and getting to know me and just growing. I love that. And she said earlier, I went to therapy and had a safe place to just let everything out. And that's so important to have. I definitely agree with that. You need safe spaces in our life for sure.
So true. So true. I see Tal has jumped on. Hi, Tal.
Awesome.
So I'm going to jump into like my lesson number 3, guys. And this one was huge. It was so, so huge. And as soon as I got this, I was just like, the light bulb came on and my whole world around me just changed. Okay. So, and I'm curious to know if this light bulb has turned on for any of you guys. Okay. So this next one is all about happiness. Happiness seriously comes from within. It is not an exterior thing. There are exterior things that can bring that happiness out, but happiness seriously comes from within. So if you agree with that, just pop a yes in the comments. I want to know if you guys agree with me on that one.
I totally agree. And Tal did say hi. Yay.
So relationship to relationship, just step to step in my life, I always was searching for happiness on the outside. It was either I was searching for somebody to make me happy, or I was searching for something that was going to make me happy. Like, maybe this job's going to make me happy. Maybe this new relationship's going to make me happy. Maybe taking up this hobby's going to make me happy. But at the end of the day, something would go wrong. And again, then I would be back to feeling unhappy, unsatisfied, unfulfilled. And so, again, going back through my journey, guys, of trying to figure things out, trying to figure myself out, I realized happiness is a thing that comes from within. It's not something that you can expect anyone or anything to do for you on a constant, ongoing basis. It doesn't make sense. It's not sustainable, if that makes sense. Happiness is 100% an inner body as a whole, right? And so when you can find your inner happiness, and I'm not sure what that looks like for you, you've got to take the time to reflect and do the inner work to figure that out. But I do have another exercise that could help you guys with that. But for me, my happiness really came from being able to find out who I was in embracing that and not holding any of that back at all. And so when I was able to just like, you know, and trying things, that helps you figure yourself out too. So as I was like on this journey of finding myself and figuring myself out, I was able to really step into my shoes in a more confident way. And as soon as I was able to walk in those shoes, it was like I was finding my stride. I was finding my joy. I was finding my inner happiness, right? Because I wasn't giving my power away to anyone or anything. And the minute that you give your power away, you feel like you're not in control. And most of us like to have that control, right?
Yep.
Most of us like to be able to have that control over how we think, how we feel, how we react. If you're human, I would think you're feeling the same way, right?
Yes.
And so the moment that we give our power up to someone or someone to be responsible for our own happiness, well, all of a sudden we're not really happy, right? We're not really living from a place of authenticity. We're not living from a place of just pure peace in flow, okay? And so what I want you guys to do, you might want to take some notes for this one, but with this exercise, I learned this exercise from Lisa Nichols. She's an amazing motivational speaker. And I did one of her trainings once, and she taught us how to forgive ourselves, how to make commitments to ourselves, and how to celebrate ourselves, okay? Awesome. So write this down, guys. These are 3 things. So what you're going to do is sit down and you're going to think of 3 things that you want to forgive yourself. And it goes back to that forgiveness letter, I guess, right? So what are 3 things that come and pop into your mind right off the bat that you feel like you need to forgive yourself for? And so what you're going to do is say, Betty, I forgive you for, and you write that out. Betty, I forgive you for, and you write that next one out. You say, Tal, I forgive you for, and you write that next one out. Yeah. And then you're going to go on to the commitment part, okay? And then what you're going to do is you're going to say, you know, Betty, I commit to you that, whatever that is, okay? And you're going to do that for three individual things. And then the last one, you're going to say to you, you're going to write down, Tal, I'm proud of you for, okay? Awesome. And you're going to think of 3 different things that you are proud of yourself for. And the idea is, once you have that written out, every single morning when you get up, you're going to look yourself in the mirror and you're going to read these things out loud. You're going to do it for 30 days. I challenge you to do it for 30 days because they say it takes 30 days to create a habit. You can try to do 31 if you want, but 30 days should be good. But if you can do this, I promise you, this again is another emotion, I don't want to say emotional, it can be emotional, but this is another deep inner work type of healing, okay? And so what that's going to do is it's going to help you to release whatever it is that you need to forgive yourself for. It's going to make you want to commit to you on whatever that is, because you're openly saying it every day and you're acknowledging that. And the last one is you are celebrating yourself, something that we don't do enough. You know, we're celebrating others, or, you know, and we're getting hard on ourselves for things that we haven't done or that we want to do, but we don't celebrate ourselves enough. So it is going to give you that boost of confidence because you're celebrating yourself, and that is going to get to your subconscious thinking in terms of, I celebrate you for that, or good job, you know? And so it's just another little piece, another little exercise, guys, that can help you really grow in your journey. Okay, so I know I'm probably rambling. I've got worries. So much stuff that I information packed into this. So I hope this is helping you guys. And again, like I said, guys, you don't only have to apply this to your relationships, but it's a lot of inner work, okay? So it's not about fixing the other person. It's not about, you know, quick fixes and honeymoon phases. No, it's inner work that you can apply in your relationships and in your day-to-day lives. Yes. So 4th last but not least lesson that I have learned, and again, this goes to all things, that communication, respect, and kindness are essential in all relationships.
100%.
Friendships, relationships with your family, and again, relationships with your loved ones. Communication, respect, and kindness goes a long way, okay? I can admit there were times where I was a shitty communicator. I was horrible. What's the matter? Oh, nothing. But deep down, you know, I was just fuming, right?
Yep.
So communication, you know, that goes a long way. Respect, having respect for yourself, not only, but having respect for the other people in your life as well is huge. And I know that that's kind of like a golden rule that we're brought up to know, but some of us forget to keep that in mind when we allow emotions in certain situations kind of overrule that. So that's one big thing I would say. Keep that in mind when your emotions are at a check. And the last one was the kindness. You know, kindness goes a long way, guys. And we are only here for a short time. And I think that showing kindness, even in the toughest of times, even in the hardest of times, in the most emotional times, being able to still stay positive and still be kind to those around you is so huge. And that kindness will circle right back around, and it will be sent right back to you. All again with the law of attraction and all that great karma stuff, right?
Yes.
And so with this lesson, I know that sometimes all of this is easier said than done. I get it, especially with the communication part, right? So there was this wonderful tool that I had learned, and it's called carefrontation as opposed to confrontation. Do you know this, Laura?
I don't know that acronym, but I feel like I might know some of the tools within it.
Okay, so you know how like when we are, you know, maybe we're having disputes or we're having disagreements with someone, our loved one, and, you know, naturally we want to put up that defense wall, right? You know, we don't want to take the blame. We don't want to admit that we're wrong. We always want to be right. And so even when when we have to have like difficult conversations and we're not sure how to bring those difficult conversations up, and sometimes, you know, we might even be a little hesitant because we're afraid that it's going to start an argument or we're going to make that other person feel uncomfortable, or right, so you get that. So with this tool, it's all about showing carefrontation. So care, C-A-R-E, frontation, as opposed to confrontation. And what you would do is say, you know, if I had to say something to you, Laura, like something was bothering me about you, I would come to you and I would say, you know, Laura, what I appreciate about you is that you are so kind and so genuine, and I know that you want nothing but the best for people. And I love that about you. And I would follow that up with making a sincere and a genuine request as to whatever it is that I wanted to fix with you. And I would say maybe, you know, I need your support with such and such. But if I come to you and I was like, you know, Laura, we were supposed to do this show, and, you know, the technology and stuff was really, really iffy at the beginning, and, you know, maybe you should have knew how to work this out. Maybe you should have been prepared. Maybe you should have known that Be Live messes up sometimes. Maybe you should have known that. So next time, maybe you could just be more prepared and fix this. And if I had said that to you, you would be like, what do you mean? Like, that was totally not my fault. And why are you being so, like, mean? And then automatically you have, like, a sour taste in your mouth about how my approach, right? And you feel like you're being blamed for something that was totally out of your control.
Right.
And you just probably feel kind of crappy about how I made that approach. That's probably not a good example because the Be Live thing was totally below her control, and I would never assume that. So just think it's like you're working really, a coworker, or even in your relationship when someone, you know, doesn't do the dishes or doesn't clean up, like when you're working all day and they're off early and the house is a mess, and it's like, you know, honey, I really love how amazing you are, you know, with me, and you treat me so well, and you're so respectful, and you're so kind to others. And when I come home from a long day of work, I wish that the house would just be a little more tidy. And so I really, really could use your support with helping me maintain the house a bit more or something, right? So it's like it's all about celebrating, kind of giving appreciation to that person before making your request. So I'll give you examples. What I appreciate about you is ... What I love about you is ... And you're making it sincere. You're not buttering them up. You're not saying this because you want your own way. Make a sincere, genuine request, okay? And then you would say, I need your support with, or I need your support in. Or can we make an agreement to? That's a good one too. Can we make a new agreement to ... So these are just some really, really simple ways of being able to basically like just shift your communication so that you avoid that defensiveness. You avoid the hostility and the arguments and the disagreements. Like, isn't that a nicer, softer approach to take with someone?
Definitely.
Right? And this doesn't even have to be applied to just your relationship. This could be applied to, like I said, with your boss. This could be applied with a scale of 1 to 10, guys. How much value are you able to take away from some of these lessons I've been able to share with you guys? I'm just curious.
Yes, definitely drop in the comments. And Betty said from before, love Lisa Nichols. And then exactly same thing here, Whitley. Doing the inner work is truly what makes me happy. Awesome. And then yes, from before about happiness comes from within. I totally agree with that too.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And another thing I really love for communication within groups or even one-on-one is I feel blank when you blank because blank. Because we don't know the stories that I'm creating versus you're creating versus everyone else. So blaming your husband for not taking out the garbage or not making the house clean, you guys can each have that honest conversation with each other and be like, I feel really overwhelmed at the end of the day and stressed out, and I feel lonely that I have to do that. And when I see the house is dirty, or like you have a mess over here and you're not even cleaning up your own mess, like you can say, I feel blah, all the stuff that you feel. And then say when they're doing that, and sometimes you need that because thing to be like, because I have this on my plate, because I feel like it's an equal responsibility that we're raising kids together. So you have half the responsibility in this, or we're going to make a new commitment around these things. Like I perceive this could be a commitment before, and this is what's happening. Because when you explain that you're feeling overwhelmed or lonely or exhausted or depressed or alone or just separate, like no one who loves you wants you to feel those negative emotions. So when you start with how that's making you feel, especially men who want to fix it, they can understand better than just like, you're fucking up, you're like the blame of all the bad things and stuff like that. Like when you come from that place of like, this is how it's affecting me, and I know that you love me, and I know we're in a loving relationship, and I know that you are a kind, amazing, wonderful person in all these ways. This is just how my reality and my lens is making me feel. This is what's happening with me, because no one can be exactly in our bodies, and no one is a mind reader and knows what we're thinking or feeling at any point in time, which is another thing I feel is a super important skill in relationships, is to check in. So like I used to be the like, I'm totally fine all the time, I'm like just gonna like stuff my feelings down and be a people pleaser because you totally don't want to know right now that I'm like really upset. That would bother you, that would be a burden. So like checking in was a huge thing for me to learn in my relationships. And I started with like intimate relationships. Now I do it with everyone, even clients. I'm like, hey, let's check in about these things, because it gives you the framework of like, we're going to be open and honest and vulnerable here. And we're not just going to like say that you're fine when you're not fine. You're checking in to find out the truth, and that you can speak freely, and you can create those kind of frameworks and containers of what that's going to look like for you guys.
Mm-hmm.
So like that would be a big thing for me, that like even if we were at a party and it was like not the best time to be like, I'm super triggered by these things happening, but like Christmas is coming, guys, like you can check in at any point in time and have like special like play words so that like only you guys know what you're doing and stuff like that. You can make it really fun so you guys can have the space in your relationship to be the most loving beings to each other and prioritize the love in your relationship over everything else, and that you know that you guys love each other and want the best for each other and have that framework, so that when someone says that they're feeling this way, it's not like a personal attack or like there's something wrong with you. That's their perspective of the world, and you want them to be in an amazing, loving perspective, knowing that we're each in charge of our own happiness, but we do have other relationships that can affect how our day is going. So you want to make sure that you're in the most loving environment with each other as well.
It's so true, Laura. I love that you shared that. That is huge.
Yes.
And there was one other thing that I wanted to say, guys, because I know that earlier when I had shared that had ended the relationship that I was in no way would I be saying, oh, just give up and go off and go find yourself. That's not what I'm saying at all.
No.
I'm just saying that like with all of these lessons actually have to do with like yourself in your inner work. And if you're in a relationship and you're having challenges or any struggles with that relationship, what I would say to you is to take some of these keys, some of these things that are applicable to you in your relationship right now, and start to use them. And really, really use them and see what kind of a difference you start to see happening within yourself. And I know that at the end of the day, you can't change anybody. You can't. You only have control over you. But what I do know is that when you start to put off a positive energy, when you start to put off an energy that is bright, that is positive, and people want to be around, you start to shift the energy that is around you.
Yes, definitely.
Right? And so even if your significant other may have things that they need to work on, if they start to see you making those changes, basically kind of like leading by example, because we all do that, right? We all follow, and again, it's all energy, and they start to see that. It's a really, really good way and a great opportunity for that relationship to start to grow and to start to change as a collective, because it has to start somewhere, right? It has to start somewhere. But again, be committed. Be committed in that. Be committed to yourself in that, and I promise you'll start to see results at least within yourself.
Yes, I completely agree. And earlier, Betty was saying 10. All of these tips are excellent. Awesome.
Oh, awesome. Thanks for tuning in, Betty.
Yes,
great,
thank you guys so much. And thank you so much, Whitley, for sharing these awesome tips with us and for sharing your light with us. It's so important for each of us to be like coming up into the world and sharing our light in such positive ways. And I love that you're sharing your story and doing incredible things, especially in the SCIPLE community. So do you want to share a little bit more about how people can connect with you after the show and your community and all the cool things you have going on?
Absolutely. Yes. Thank you. So guys, thanks again for joining in. Like Laura said, I do have a network for women. It's a safe and supportive space for women who really want to grow. A lot of entrepreneurs inside of there, a lot of women who are, seeking their path, finding themselves. So that it's a online Facebook community. It's SCIPLE. You can find us on Facebook. The other thing I wanted to share with all of you guys today is I have a very new and exciting project that I will be unfolding over the next couple of weeks. And so it is going to be a journey of sharing some real raw experiences with you guys, sharing lessons that are going to help you guys with your own personal journey and your growth. And it's all about kind of like showing up and doing this together, because I am on a mission to live every day owning my power and inspiring and educating people to do the same so that they can do just that.
Awesome.
And so I'm really, really excited about this. And I would, and if you connect it with me in any way, connect it with my energy in any way, if you liked some of the things that I shared today, then I invite you to join me in this new and exciting upcoming journey that I'm about to roll out here soon. Yes, I'm really excited. So I hope to see some of you guys. I will share the link to my newsletter. So basically, I will be sending out all of the announcements and lead up through this newsletter. I promise I won't spam you. I won't drive you crazy. I'm not going to try and sell you anything. It's literally just embarking on this journey together and to pursue our growth in our own paths. So I will share out that link with you guys to the newsletter so you can get on that list if you feel called to.
Awesome.
But yes, and then if you want to check out SCIPLE, we're on Facebook, and then we also have the SCIPLE website, sciple.ca. So thank you so much, Laura, for that. I appreciate that, honey.
You're welcome. I'm so excited for everyone to continue on their journey with you, and definitely put those links in the comments below so that people can easily click on that. I'm a member of SCIPLE, guys. It's an awesome place to be. It's all over the world, so definitely connect with those people that you feel called to. It's a very beautiful space to be a part of. So thank you guys all so much for joining us on the Love and Light Show today. I encourage you to continue to join us on your journey every Monday at 1 Atlantic, 12 Eastern, and 9 Pacific, so you guys can be connected with the different coaches and light workers and healers that can support you on your journey so you can truly show up and be the change that you want to see in the world. So thank you guys all so much, and I'm sending you lots of love and light. Bye.
Bye, guys.